Welcome back to Important Library Stuff, a podcast where library staff share the inside scoop on all the stuff that happens at Prince William Public Libraries. And trust us, it's a lot of stuff. I'm your host, Emily Bickers, media specialist from the Office of Communications and Marketing, and I am joined each episode by fellow staff members and special guests who know a lot more on each episode's topic than I do, which for this episode is art in the library. Today, I'm not only joined by Manassas City Library Manager Lena Gonzalez Berrios and Rachel Rivero, librarian at Central Library, but also Nick Zimbro, a local muralist. So first of all, what are your 3 favorite books?
It was a hard decision. So I'll just mention 3 of my favorite books. Augustus and His Smile, which is a picture book by Catherine Rayner. I love it. It's very uplifting and has beautiful artwork. And America the Beautiful, which is a pop-up book by Robert Sabuda. That's fun, and you can sing the song as you read the book. And another book called The Same Stuff as Stars by Catherine Patterson. It's a chapter book that is near and dear to my heart.
That's awesome.
So my all-time favorite is The Time Traveler's Wife by Audrey Niffenegger, The Godfather by Mario Puzo, and The Lovely Bones by Alice Sebold.
I'm so envious you guys could do that with such conviction. I struggled with this all week. The only one that was certain was Leaves of Grass by Walt Whitman. That and Memories, Dreams, Reflection by Carl Jung. He wrote that when he was like 80 years old, and it starts with memories from when he was like 4. It goes his whole life, and it's just, I thought that was really captivating. And maybe The Aeneid by Virgil. Those are the 3 that kind of kept coming up. But the first one, Walt Whitman, Leaves of Grass, that was the only one that was every single day. I knew that was number 1, but there's a lot of other books. I'm sure you guys had the same thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Nick has collaborated on murals and installations with partners such as Metro, Heineken, DC United, the Hirshhorn Museum, and now our very own Central Library. He recently finished painting a beautiful mural on the outside of the library, the side facing 28 Centerville Road. For those who haven't driven by yet, it's this stunning floral design in red, white, and shades of blue. My jaw literally dropped when I saw it in person for the first time. So what was your inspiration for the design?
I really struggled because you're not the first person to ask me that. With this particular mural, what is this about? And I usually don't always get that. They go, wow, that's so nice. But with this particular one, people wanted an explanation. I think it's because I'm working with librarians and you all appreciate a good story. So I think I was evoking a memory of my grandmother's quilt from when I was a little kid. And I'll leave it at that. I'm pretty sure that's what I was doing with that mural. Outside of just trying to make something that was pretty, something that the people, because you drive by it and you're only driving by for 10, 15 seconds. But if you go, oh, wow, that's nice. That's why I painted that mural, for that moment right there. So,
what did it mean for you to create a mural for Prince William Public Libraries?
Okay, so it means a whole lot. It means that when I'm in a position to show up and give, I'm going to be able to do so and hopefully do so in a big way. This mural is like 150 feet wide. But to work with librarians in particular, you all are kind of like bastions of hope. Like you're servants of inspiration, and that's really what you do. And so I felt like I was partnering with allies before we even really started this. I was like, oh, the library? Oh, wow, okay, yeah, definitely. So it was one of those projects that you're just like, I cannot wait to do this. It means that much, It means a whole lot.
That's awesome.
Wow, that's amazing. The feeling is mutual whenever I talk to people who have seen the mural. It means a lot to them.
Thanks.
So can you describe the process of creating a mural that large, as you said, 150 feet?
Oh, that's like trying to describe the process of a football game. I mean, yeah, it's okay. It's physical. You were asking me before this. You were asking about the logistics of the wall's orientation to the sun. Where with this particular one, it was an eastern-facing wall. So as soon as sun comes up, it starts to get heated up, and by 10:30, I mean it's like really warm. And my first day there, it's 10:30 in the morning, and I'm just like, oh no. I was like, all right, we're only doing this early in the morning or in the evening, and the sun dictated my workflow on this project. But I love to wake up early and work, especially in the summer. So I mean, it was nothing for me to get out there. I like to wake up at 4 o'clock and say, all right, let's go do the day. And then But as far as process, I mean, it's just you organize it like you would any drawing. But the physicality of this particular wall was a lot. This is an old brick wall with a lot of texture in it. It was really porous. So I worked for it.
Absolutely. So Color Our World is our summer reading theme. What does that phrase mean to you as an artist, especially a muralist who...
Well, for me, it means live in the process, right? But I think in general, it's kind of like a call to action to, live through your imagination in a way. And I guess I've been doing that. You guys got to me when I was young, so I've been doing that the whole while. And I think it's a great slogan. You guys keep it up. You're changing lives. You definitely are. You're definitely changing lives, all of you. So,
what do you hope people feel or think when they see the mural?
I hope that everyone on some base level loves their space a little bit more, because I think that's a relationship with space is important as we continue to grow as a society, and each one of us has a space, and if each one of us loves the space that we're in a little bit more, then I maybe helped a little bit, and that's what I'm really trying to get at. It's this illusion that you might be able to help by putting up these large images propagating beauty and hoping that beauty itself will be the vehicle that carries it all the way. So I think that's pretty good.
That's fantastic. Totally agree. So Rachel, you helped bring this mural to life. Why did the library decide to commission it?
So we had just installed a art wall, a lot like Manassas City. We had reached out and asked how to set it up and what types of materials we need. So we had just done that. And it was the first week I was on that emailing list, and I saw Nick's email come in, and I was like, oh my gosh, I've seen his art around Manassas, and it is so awesome. But never in a million years did I really think that we would be able to attain that. In the course of a few days, I think him and Natalie, our branch manager, talked, and it was already starting work the next day. I was like, oh, it's already here. And I was so excited because he was just so willing to work with us. He has just been amazing. He was updated with his work, and just the kindness, that he's shown us we've been really appreciative of.
Great. And what has the community's response been like that you have noticed?
It's been overwhelming, and it's not even done yet. It's every time I have people come in, either they'll tell us, like, we've seen the mural and we were just blown away, or people that have come in, I'm like, hey, have you seen our new mural yet? You should go take a walk outside. And they're just stunned, A lot of people that have grown up with this library, for the past, it really revitalizes our space, and I really hope to get new people in.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's part of the goal. Make sure that you guys get more foot traffic. But
Yes.
Can I add a little? There's a couple ingredients that are truly magical about this particular one. Rachel, the week that you and I first started dialogue, I had actually received, I think, more rejection letters than I've ever received in my whole career. It was this year. But the way that you were like, just slipped in all of these rejection letters was your email, and the way that you were very candid and nice about, like, you were like, hey, I really think that that's super cool. Would you do one for mine too? And just the way that you asked me was really nice. And that was the catalyst. And then I met you there a few days later. We were both sold. I've painted maybe 100 murals, but I've sized up maybe 1,000 walls. They don't always go through. But between you and Natalie and my own conviction, it was like we were kind of unstoppable. And so that's pretty cool. So thank you.
That's awesome. Lena and Rachel, you both have been huge proponents for involving art in the library in many forms. Color Our World has been such a fun theme for summer reading. How have you seen art bring color to the world at our library this summer?
One thing that happened recently, it was just the end of the school year. Manassas City schools were about to let out, and we were able to schedule with the art teacher from Baldwin Elementary School to do an exhibit. Her students are from kindergarten to fourth grade. And they didn't have enough to fill our whole art space, and so we had just received a request from a local artist who was graduating from George Mason, and her senior project was a series of prints that she had done based on her family's heritage. And so we decided to kind of do these two exhibits together to fill the space. And the exhibits were so striking and amazing, and also just showed the accomplishment of students of all ages. We said, well, we have to have an art opening. We had over 100 people in Manassas City Library. We're very small, so that was a lot of people. We were really full. But it was just totally amazing to see the kids and their work on display. Some of the elementary students got to meet the George Mason graduate and talk with her and kind of walk through the exhibit together, seeing families mingling together, seeing community leaders show up to celebrate and congratulate the young artists. And then we have been able to enjoy those exhibits this summer and hope to make this an annual event with the school system. If you haven't yet seen the exhibits, the prints are black and white, so it's really kind of stark contrast to these very vibrant and lively and, in some cases, three-dimensional work by the elementary students.
I really enjoy the theme this year because I think it's given the staff a lot of opportunities to add their own personal touch to the branch. We've had a sticker of Edward Munch's A Scream. We've had children, decorate their own art on a giant banner that we've put up in the library. We have these little strips of color paper that we're hanging above the desk where it's like your name and your favorite thing about summer, which is super adorable to read. And it's just been really rewarding, to see everybody's own personal bit of art added to the library this year.
That's great. Can you talk about how our exhibit spaces and art programs support local artists and creators?
Yeah.
You guys ended up with a 150-foot wide mural in the library system.
There's one giant example, right?
Case study A.
Yeah. I would like to mention a group that has been meeting at Montclair Library for a number of years. When that branch opened in 2016, a local artist who had just retired from being a high school art teacher, her name is Sherry Boyle, and she's a watercolorist. And she decided to volunteer to teach watercolor classes for adults. And so she's been volunteering there since 2016. She helped set up the Montclair Art Wall exhibit area and would recruit the artists and so forth. So she has been a tremendous supporter and also contributor to ensuring that there's art at all times on display at Montclair. And I've learned a great deal from her. But her classes, we decided to change the name to Watercolor Collaborative because that's exactly what it became. It was really a wonderful time for artists of all levels to come in and learn from each other and share their work and critique each other, but also to provide service as well. I know last summer and the summer before, they made watercolor bookmarks to hand out to everybody who signed up for summer reading. So I've just seen so many different examples of gifts that group has provided in terms of support and contributions and teaching classes and just giving back to the library in addition to just sharing their work for exhibits over these years.
That's great.
So this year, since I've been here programming for adults, we've been able to have artists market their work for free in both our programs and our display as well. And we've been able to really build those symbiotic connections with the community, which is really what it's all about and why we're here. Like Lena said, we did have our GMU graduate, Allison, put some display pieces at our central library as well, and we were just so enthralled with them. They were gorgeous, just gorgeous pieces that were off of her Hungarian and Norwegian fairy tales that she grew up with as a kid. I also host art classes every month. We have different local artists that come and teach adults how to do acrylic, watercolor, pastels, all kinds of things. So that's been really, really awesome that we've been able to have for the community. And we are also currently working on a community quilt that everybody can contribute to, both staff and patrons. We'll have more information on that in the fall as well, but we're in the process of trying to get a couple of those to help facilitate our new adult section and make it just more comfy.
So I want to talk a little bit more about those exhibit spaces. So we have exhibit spaces where local artists can request to display their art at Bull Run, Central, Dumfries, Lake Ridge, Manassas City, and Montclair libraries. If you want to fill out a request form, you can visit pwcva.gov/library, and under Services, click Display Your Art. So I also wanted to talk about our maker spaces because they also let people experiment with creativity. How have you seen patrons use the maker spaces to express themselves?
So our makerspace technician has been working on a lot of wonderful programs for the fall for both teens and adults. I've hosted a few myself in there utilizing the Cricut. And it's really wonderful to see how they offer the perfect balance of creativity and learning, our makerspaces. So whether it be our open hours or our programs that our staff offer, you can do all kinds of things. You can learn how to sew, how to laser engrave, 3D print, crochet, make jewelry. I mean, it's just completely amazing how many things you really can do in there. I believe we have a glass fusing program coming up in a couple weeks, and I was like, I want to sit in and learn this because I just think that's the coolest thing ever.
Amazing. Yeah, we have maker spaces at Central and Bull Run libraries.
Last year I had a really fun experience learning. Well, I visited the Central Makerspace with students and graduates from Career Online High School. So we have this program, we help adults finish their high school diploma. And so we had a in-person meetup in the makerspace and just had a tour there. And then after that, I learned how to use the X tool to engrave on metal, and we made little pendants for the graduates from 2024 from Career Online High School from our program. So that was really cool because I personally learned how to use that tool, but then I was able to make a gift that we could then, give to the graduates to congratulate them on their accomplishment.
They're going to remember that. They're going to keep that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a tactile. That manifests that whole memory is right in there.
And it's a small thing,
wow.
But it was a really meaningful experience for me also to do that. So, and I know that the maker spaces are often used by people in the community to make gifts, or they have a certain idea, something they want to make, but most of us don't have those kinds of tools at home. So it's a way of using them for free and making something really special.
Do you have any more memorable moments from an art or crafts program?
An event that's actually coming up in September. It's an annual event at Montclair Library called Art in the Garden. Is just a really fabulous experience. A few years ago at Montclair, we established a pollinator garden and a seed library and been doing composting projects there as well. And so Art in the Garden was just a way to get everybody to the library to kind of learn about all those things, but to bring artists and gardeners together because actually there's a lot of overlap, which
so much overlap.
Nick and I just realized we have that in common. But for example, in the Watercolor Collaborative, there are a number of master gardeners, and they're part of the Montclair Garden Club. And so that was one of our partners at Art in the Garden. Last year, I think we had 14 different organizations that either represent the arts or gardening in some way, or the environmental groups like Keep Prince William Beautiful and others. Prince William Art Society brought their plein air posse. It was just amazing. So that's always something that I've looked forward to every year, and I think it's coming up on September the 13th. Yeah, it's a couple-hour outdoor event around the garden.
So one of my favorite craft programs that I've ever hosted, was totally on the fly at a previous library. So we used embroidery rings and felt pieces, and we punched felt into it for Gnome-vember. So we did gnomes. And, it was very much just like when I teach craft classes, I'm just like, this is the end product. Yours is going to look totally different. I just want you to have fun with it and make it yours. And so just, by the end of the hour, sticking, poking. And I just had all these adorable little gnomes, and it was just the cutest thing. And they were just like, I like mine because he's got a really big beard. And I like this one because he has a yellow hat. I'm like, yeah, that's the point. It's not supposed to be a very, specific end product. I remember before I moved here. My very last class, we made roses for Valentine's Day out of book pages, and that was just a really fun one. It's hard to pick a favorite crafting moment. They all are, but like you said, Lena, the ones that stick with you and those memories you create and those interactions you have with the patrons, that's it, just the interactions.
That's great.
Thanks.
Why do you think public art matters, and why do you think it belongs in library spaces?
What came to my mind thinking about that question is just that part of our mission in public libraries in general is to represent our community. And art is also an expression that represents artists and represents people and ideas and concepts and visions and so forth. So it just seems like the perfect venue to be able to add to what traditional resources we may offer as a library, in terms of books and so forth. But another thing that came to my mind is that part of our role is growing readers, but also growing artists and growing mechanics and growing all kinds of, professions, if you will. And so inspiring people from the youngest of ages to really plant those seeds and, give people exposure to things that then they can run with. They can learn from things, then make connections with others, and then run with it, right? And so we have an example, Nick here, who ran with his skill set and his ideas and is creating these amazing murals.
It literally started in this building, too. I mean, because I told you, I was 12 years old when this was finished in construction, and I could walk here from my parents' house, and I have borrowed every book, the large plate drawings of the Renaissance masters, places like a cultural boon. I mean, this is the savings grace of the society that we live in, the fact that we have resources and people devoted to, administering those resources. And the resource that you give is inspiration. So thank you again,
And thank you.
I promise we didn't coach you beforehand.
No, but I mean, the library for me has always been one of the best places to go to. I mean, it's where I got my first books. Books were the entryway into the world of creativity. And long before I could call myself an artist, I was an avid reader. And all the experiences that you get from reading a book, they're not your experiences, but you get to extrapolate info from them. And it's just, I don't know. So, yeah, you didn't coach me, but I'm a big fan. So, thanks.
Well, thank you. We appreciate it for sure.
I think another point I want to make is that the library is all about serving the community. And by providing a space for artists to exhibit their work or to come and teach others their techniques or, to interact with the community, they're also serving the community too. And so it just, and enriching the community. So it's kind of like we're trying to serve others, but actually they're serving us too. And I know we have a strategic goal to make sure that our spaces are inviting for the community. And I think this is just an example of how by partnering with local artists and complementing one another, that the library can provide some of those traditional resources and a venue to make things happen, but then the artists are actually the ones who are sort of filling that space with, work that is going to just spark creativity and joy and, really enrich everybody's lives.
That's the same way I was looking at it too, Lena, was Marie Kondo's like, what sparks joy? Like, cut out everything else and just start from the basics.
It's not folding socks the right way. It is.
Throwing them out.
It's creating a sock critter. That's actually one of my favorite little craft programs was transforming a sock into a critter.
Exactly. And yes, I agree. Public art, it just really gives everybody a chance to reflect on it, especially people, that aren't able to visit, museums or galleries, especially making it accessible. And I really do believe that it's important for people when they walk into libraries to see themselves, whether it be in our materials, in our books, in the people they talk to, the people they interact with. They need to feel like their stories are seen and heard and respected there. And, just being able to combine public art with their own personal stories, with, the people that come in, it just really is the perfect storytelling experience. Like Nick said, you're not just seeing it, you're feeling it, you're speaking it. It's a whole experience. And, you don't get that at many places but the library. So it really is truly special in my heart.
Have you seen art in the library spark unexpected conversations or connections?
I mean, there's so many different times that I've seen things like that. Something that comes to my mind is, being in the process of hanging an exhibit. So the artist is there, and there's obviously something going on. We're like taking down one exhibit and putting up another, and it attracts attention. And it sparks conversation because as a staff member, you're apologizing. Oh, sorry for the mess here. We're hanging an exhibit. But it becomes an invitation, too. And so there have been just some really beautiful moments where maybe a child with a parent or, a grandparent is just visiting the library, just spontaneously happens upon the scene. And they get to meet the artist and talk. And, a lot of the artists will really try to show them their work and ask them questions. And so it just becomes, very meaningful experience. And it's unanticipated, so the people might be just coming to get a library card or something, really, let's pop in there and get a drink of water or go to the bathroom or whatever. But they have this really magical experience and interaction that's unexpected. And, it has staying power, I think.
It's really awesome to see patrons, like Lena said, that, you're coming in, you're changing art, they're putting something up, and they get curious. They're like, what's going on today? I see you have a new artist. And you're like, yes, we do. You should go read about them. They're coming back this day if you'd like to talk to them. We have their bios, their links to more art. They're like, I have a friend who's an artist with, can they? I was like, yes, please. I put that to every single artist I meet. I'm like, please go here, submit it. We want your art. We want to display your pieces. All you sometimes have to do is really just ask, especially in the case with, the mural with Nick. Why not ask?
Well, I'm glad you asked.
Thanks.
So how do you see libraries and artists collaborate to reflect the identity of a local community?
One of the beautiful things about collaborating with artists and libraries is that there's kind of a level playing field. I think that one of the things that happens to a lot of us as we're growing up is we internalize these things like, oh, I can't draw or I can't do this or that. I'm not an artist. I'm not this or I'm not that. And I think the library gives opportunity for people to develop skills and to learn and to be exposed to things that maybe they have lacked confidence in. You can be involved in the arts in the library regardless of who you are. And even we do arts with toddlers, any age, right? But just thinking about a lot of adults hold themselves back in terms of pursuing creative things. They'll say, oh, well, I can make crafts, but I can't do art, or things like that. And I think that having maker spaces, having exhibit areas, having classes and workshops and events that just expose people and encourage them and involve them, it just really, it kind of helps people reconnect with that side of themselves or explore their creative side when maybe they never thought that they could do that. So it makes that possible, regardless of your living, your socioeconomic status or your the resources that you have or the training that you have or whatever. It's like an opportunity for anybody.
I think one of my favorite programs we have frequently is Bad Art Night. Mm-hmm. And they just have like all kinds of paper, like all kinds of pastels, like all different kinds of art materials. And it's just do everything. They have like a couple of prompts that if you want to have inspiration. But the idea is just to not take it too seriously. It's okay if it's bad. In fact, we embrace it. But then when I look at the finished products, I'm like, this is not bad. Like, this is honest. This is authentic. This is really cool. So yeah, I think that the library has, again, like a cost-free, no stress way to explore that part of yourself.
So yes, I agree that libraries really do exist as a pillar in the community. Just everybody can come in and feel seen and welcome. But I really do think that does apply to public art as well. I remember when we were speaking with Nick, a lot of people were asking, about the flowers. Like, oh, how did, the staff were wondering, how did they come to be flowers? Like, this is what he designed, and we are going to go with it because we trust him and he makes beautiful things. And we are not, we want him to make something that he feels represents this community and this library. We didn't want to push it because as an artist, you have to get your message out as well.
And you guys never once were like, oh, what about this or that? I was like, no, we love that. Do it. And I was like, oh, thank you so much. It was just the support that I felt the whole time has also been present in this whole conversation. Like, I don't know if you guys know it, but you've been training yourselves to be nurturers in a way. And so you create, like, safe spaces. And everything that you've said has been about, like, we provide a platform for people to kind of like put their guard down and say, okay, I'm not good at this, but I'm going to try it anyway. And there's not too many places in the world that exist like that anymore. So double down on that, please, on behalf of everyone. Please double down on that because the world needs more people like you. And there's an officer that comes here. And he came by when I first started. And he said, what are you doing? I said, I promise it's not vandalism, right? And then trying to get a joke out of him. And he came by at the end, and he came and shook my hand. He was like, they need more guys like you out there. And I just thought that was kind of cool. I was like, wow, I get to say this to librarians, that the world needs more people like you. So it's if we keep this reciprocity up, then maybe we're all doing something good. And I think that's a good reason to wake up.
I think that's the best way I've heard it well put. That is, I think, our message. Libraries, that we need more people like you, our patrons. We need you to come out and share your stories and your experiences, and for everybody to feel that it's a safe space. And I think that is the most important thing in our jobs, regardless of programming, regardless of informational reference. Just that itself, I think, is the one thing that needs to shine bright, regardless of anything else.
Fantastic. Well, do we have any parting thoughts or tips?
Thank you to Nick so much for having our whole new mural. We're so excited.
Thank you, Nick.
Thank you all for having me. Thank you for the chance, the opportunity, and the platform, and here as well. So thanks.
I wanted to mention an art-related program coming up for teens. Manassas City Library's Hispanic Heritage Month Poetry Contest runs from September 15th through October 15th. Prince William County and City of Manassas teens in grades 9 through 12 are encouraged to enter this poetry contest honoring the rich tapestry of Hispanic and Latin culture and identity in poetry. The winner will receive $100 and an honorable mention will be awarded $50. You can enter at pwcva.gov/library. There are so many art, craft, and creative programs happening this fall, including Montclair Library's Art in the Garden that Lena mentioned. In addition, journaling, crocheting, painting. I could go on, but we are running out of time. Be sure to visit our online events calendar to plan your own art experience at PWPL this fall. I will close us out with a quote from the book referenced in the episode title, The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. Some things are more precious because they don't last long. Thank you for listening, and join us next month for the next episode of Important Library Stuff.